Channel 2 News at 6 starts now.
After a rainy day, the sun is finally shining outside our studios in downtown Buffalo. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Dudzik in for Claudine Ewing. Thank you for joining us here on WGRZ.com for this special webcast. We'll be back over on Fox 29 and on Channel 2 for Channel 2 News tonight at 10 and 11. Your news headlines are coming right up, but first we start with the latest on a pretty up and down forecast. Meteorologist Elise Smith joins us with a look ahead to your work week forecast. Hi, Elise.
Hey, good evening, Kelly. Yes, up and down we go, and today it's even been up and down with some rain, then some wind, some mild temperatures, but we're cooling down right now. We really did need the rain, and we saw right what we forecasted, around 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch at most. Buffalo saw just under 1/2 an inch with 0.4 inches of rain today, and that has really helped us out. In addition to the inch of rain we got just on Friday, we are not going to see one of the top 10 driest Marches ever on record, but it still has been a pretty dry March in comparison to what we have experienced last year and just per usual. We still have some rain moving in right now, but it's not as widespread. The widespread rain is far to our east. We just have a couple streamers coming in off the lake as that lake breeze gets going. And this is going to be a weather system working with all the Great Lakes. So you can see the general flow of these westerly winds as they come in down across Michigan and up through Lake Erie right now. So with this lake breeze, we are still going to see some isolated showers, but as temperatures fall, this could lead to a rain-snow mix, and we will likely see some snowflakes fall tonight. Not going to accumulate for Buffalo, the North Towns, Niagara Frontier. If any, we will see a minor accumulation for the Chautauqua Ridge, southern tier portions of the Genesee Valley, but an inch of this will likely melt on contact first, with the ground already being wet. So keep that in mind. Nothing to worry about in terms of any snow, but it is going to fall tonight, so be aware of that. Winds are picking up. We had a wind gust of 32 just clocked in Buffalo, 47 in Dunkirk, and we're going to keep these gusty winds overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. And that's just one of the weather headlines here. This is what you can expect this week. Temperature swings again. We'll see some afternoons in the mid 60s, but some mornings in the upper 20s. Also chances for rain and snow showers again, and another windy day on Tuesday. We're going to be talking all about that in your forecast tonight on Fox 29 and Channel 2 News at 11, Kelly.
All right, Elise, thank you. And after years of talk and failed attempts to legalize the adult use of recreational marijuana in New York State, a deal to do that has been reached. Both lawmakers and Governor Andrew Cuomo say an agreement just needs to be voted on this week. Channel 2's Jeff Preval is getting reaction tonight.
And many members of law enforcement have had concerns about recreational marijuana being legalized and how that would look. On the other hand, many community advocates have said that marijuana laws have been too harsh. The deal to legalize recreational marijuana creates a licensing system for producers, distributors, and retailers. People will be able to legally possess up to 3 ounces of marijuana outside their home. Marijuana inside the home must be kept away from children. As for home grow, recreational users would have to wait until 18 months after the first dispensary opens. The state projects hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, with local tax dollars going to counties, cities, towns, and villages.
We will, in the city of Buffalo, work with the members of the legislature, work with the members of the community to make sure that the money gets to low-income communities.
From a driving standpoint, which was my concern all along, apparently driving while under the influence of marijuana is still a misdemeanor, so that is good.
Cities and towns can opt out of allowing retail stores by passing a local law to that effect by the end of the year. Court records will eventually be expunged for marijuana convictions that are no longer illegal. And here's something to remember. Federally, marijuana remains a controlled substance and is not allowed on federal property, such as at border crossings. Outside the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls, I'm Jeff Preval, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Jeff. A Niagara University student is now identified as the man found dead after a fire on Wyoming Avenue yesterday. A spokesperson for the Niagara Falls Police Department tells us Patrick Romano's death is still being investigated. The university notified students and staff in an email this morning and said Romano was a junior in the Sport and Recreation Management program. He was also a member of the club hockey team. Several students stopped by yesterday and dropped off flowers in Romano's memory. Police in Niagara Falls are also investigating this crash on Wilson Street involving a car that hit a tree early this morning. The car does have quite a bit of damage there, but right now we don't know how that driver's doing. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Today, dozens of people gathered in Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo to call for an end to Asian hate in the U.S. Amid the pandemic, we've seen an increase in violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders because of the coronavirus. People also shared their experiences.
I was born and raised here in Buffalo, but to look at me, you wouldn't know that. And the people who look at me and tell me to go back to my homeland, they don't know that either. But the reality is that anti-Asian sentiment has been around in this country for as long as Asians have been here.
There was also a call to action for all people to speak up and call out anti-Asian sentiments and support their fellow Americans. Another group also braved the elements today by the Peace Bridge to call for the U.S.-Canadian border to reopen. Frustration was written on signs by people who are now unable to see their loved ones. The border remains closed to non-essential travelers until at least April 21st. Congressman Brian Higgins has called for a partial reopening by Memorial Day. We've heard from dozens of you again today who need help getting your unemployment benefits and can't get through to the New York State Department of Labor by calling the main number. The DOL addressed this today on Twitter saying, quote, "We are aware some New Yorkers are having trouble certifying through our website and phone system. We're currently working to resolve that issue." The DOL also says you can certify until Saturday to get your benefits for last week. New analysis from the New York Times shows that New York is just one of 3 states without a set date for universal adult vaccination. The other 2, Wyoming and Arkansas. The universal vaccination would mean anyone over 16 could get a COVID shot. The governor previously said the state's current age limit is based on federal allocation. And once that goes up, the age limit would likely be dropped to 40, 30, and so on. Right now, vaccines in New York are only open to individuals 50 and older and other designated groups like first responders. The Sabres winless streak is now at 17 games after that loss to the Bruins yesterday. It was also the first game without veteran Eric Staal. Our Julian Pelusi explains what his impact was after such a short time in Buffalo.
Eric Staal was introduced to the Montreal media today, officially leaving behind a Sabres team that is on a 17-game winless streak and joining a Montreal team that is a legitimate playoff contender.
I just want to win. I mean, I want to be out there and win and be competitive and try and help our group win games. I feel like I've got some game left in me, then I can be a contributor.
The contributions on the ice in Buffalo weren't what the Sabres were hoping for. The team brought in Staal from Minnesota to center their second line and give rookie Dylan Cousins some time to develop on the wing. The veteran forward has scored just 3 goals over 32 games so far this season. Interim coach Don Granato said Staal's impact is more long-lasting.
He was amazing, keeping guys up on the bench through this adversity and challenge, in the locker room saying the right things. That's sad to see him go, but I'm excited for him as to have that opportunity because he's given us what he could here.
As for the Sabres' return, 2 2021 draft picks in the 3rd and 5th rounds, our Sabres analyst Paul Hamilton.
Adams knew what the best offer was going to be. Montreal wants to get squared away. Usually, if you keep salary, you should be able to do better in the 3rd and the 5th. But with the way Staal's played this year, I think that's pretty much all he was going to get.
Julianne Pelusi, Channel 2 Sports.
A new report says the NFL could be planning a 17-game regular season starting this fall. If true, this would be the first time the league has expanded its schedule since 1978, when games were increased from 14 to 16. ESPN's Adam Schefter first reported the news earlier today, and ESPN's Field Yates also reported that it looks like the Bills could host Washington if the 17-game schedule is approved. The NFL has not released any official information yet, though. Christians around the world are celebrating celebrating Palm Sunday today. It's meant to remember the story of Jesus and the Bible arriving in Jerusalem and the path of palm fronds being laid out for him. Nowadays, palms are given out at services like this one at St. Joseph University Parish. And because of the pandemic, there were some drive-up palms. The day marks exactly 1 week until Easter. Thank you so much for joining us for this special online edition of Channel 2 News at 6. We'll see you at 10 over on Fox 29 and at 11 on Channel 2.